Racism is a harmful belief that one racial group is superior to another. It is based on prejudice, which is a preconceived opinion not based on reason or experience. Discrimination often follows prejudice, involving actions that treat people unfairly because of their race. Racism is more than individual acts of hate. It is a system where power and prejudice intertwine. This system gives advantages to some while disadvantaging others, based solely on race. Examples of racism include racial profiling by law enforcement, disparities in healthcare access, and discriminatory housing practices. Understanding these different manifestations is key to combating racism effectively. By acknowledging the systemic nature of racism and its various forms, we can begin to dismantle it. Centuries of colonialism and imperialism have left deep scars, shaping racist ideologies that persist today. European powers often justified their conquest by portraying colonized people as inferior, legitimizing their exploitation. The transatlantic slave trade is a horrific example of how racist beliefs fueled inhumane systems. Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved for economic gain, their humanity denied through racist justifications. These historical injustices continue to influence present-day racial dynamics. The legacy of colonialism and slavery manifests in wealth disparities, limited opportunities, and ingrained prejudices. Acknowledging this history is not about dwelling on the past, but understanding its lasting impact and actively working to dismantle its remnants in the present. Social segregation, both physical and social, perpetuates racial divisions. When people live, work, and socialize within their racial groups, opportunities for meaningful interaction and understanding diminish. Media often reinforces stereotypes. Biased portrayals of racial groups in news, movies, and television shows can shape perceptions and reinforce existing prejudices, even subconsciously. Combating societal racism requires dismantling segregation and promoting diverse representation in media. Creating inclusive spaces and challenging biased narratives are essential steps towards equality. By fostering environments where diverse perspectives are valued and shared, we can challenge stereotypes and promote understanding. Psychological factors contribute to racism. Fear of the unknown or different can lead to prejudice. This fear is often exploited to create divisions and maintain power structures. The need for dominance and a sense of superiority also plays a role. Some individuals and groups uphold racist beliefs to justify their privileged position in society. Unconscious or implicit bias is another significant factor. These are automatic associations we make about people based on their race, often without our conscious awareness. Recognizing our own biases and actively challenging them is crucial. We must question our assumptions and strive to interact with others with empathy and openness. Section 5: Racism in Our World. Everyday examples of prejudice in action. Racism manifests in many ways, from overt discrimination to subtle microaggressions. Recognizing these everyday examples is essential. Hate speech, racial slurs, and violence are blatant forms of racism that inflict pain and fear. These actions are unacceptable and must be condemned unequivocally. More subtle forms of racism, called microaggressions, are commonplace. These are brief, everyday exchanges that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative slights toward people of color. Examples include making assumptions about someone's intelligence based on their race or telling a person of color that they are not like the others. These seemingly small acts contribute to a climate of exclusion and disrespect. Section 6: Beyond Explicit Bias. Understanding the subtleties of implicit racism. Implicit bias operates below the level of conscious awareness. These automatic associations and attitudes can influence our judgments and actions without our intention. For example, studies have shown that people may unconsciously associate Black individuals with danger or criminality, even if they consciously reject racist beliefs. This implicit bias can have real-world consequences, influencing hiring decisions, interactions with law enforcement, and even medical treatment. Recognizing that we all harbor implicit biases is the first step. We must actively challenge these biases through education, exposure to diverse perspectives, and conscious effort to change our thinking. Section 7: Seeds of Change: Education, Empathy, and Confronting Prejudice. Combating racism requires a multifaceted approach. Education is paramount. Learning about different cultures, histories, and experiences helps dismantle stereotypes and fosters understanding. Empathy is crucial. Putting ourselves in the shoes of those who experience racism allows us to understand the impact of prejudice and discrimination. We must also be willing to confront racism when we see it. Silence is complicity. Speaking out against prejudice, whether it's a racist joke or a discriminatory practice, is essential. By promoting education, empathy, and active anti-racism, we can create a more just and equitable society. Section 8. Building bridges, the power of intergroup contact and dialogue. Meaningful contact between people of different racial backgrounds is a powerful tool for combating prejudice. When we interact with others authentically, we challenge stereotypes and build relationships. Open and honest dialogue about race is essential. Creating safe spaces for these conversations allows us to share experiences, learn from each other, and work towards solutions together. Initiatives that promote diversity and inclusion in schools, workplaces, and communities are crucial. By fostering environments where everyone feels valued and respected, we can break down barriers and create a more just society. Through intergroup contact, dialogue, and a commitment to dismantling systemic barriers, we can build bridges of understanding and create a more inclusive future. Section 9. A hopeful future. Embracing our shared humanity. The fight against racism is ongoing, but we must never lose hope. Progress has been made, and each generation has the opportunity to build upon the efforts of those who came before. Recognizing our shared humanity is fundamental. We are all members of the human race, and our diversity is a strength to be celebrated, not feared. By embracing our shared humanity, rejecting prejudice, and actively working towards a more just and equitable world, we can create a future where racism is relegated to the history books. Let us move forward with hope, determination, and a commitment to building a world where everyone is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their race.